The Turks and Caicos Islands is due for a census, and during their last meeting in Grand Turk on May 13th, the Advisory Council gave the Department of Economic Planning and Statistics the okay to begin preparation. In a press release to News 4, they stated the Ministry of Finance submitted papers on a customer price index and a population census respectively prepared by the Department of Economic Planning and Statistics. Permanent Secretary of Finance, Mr. Dalton Jones, accompanied by economist Mrs. Tessa Bean and senior statistician Mr. Sherlin Forbes, explained the importance of both projects for the Turks and Caicos Islands as tools for planning and decision-making and sought approval of funding for them. The approval came right in time, says Sherlin Forbes, who during a telephone interview with News 4 said many countries are beginning their census this year.
We are currently in the early stages of preparing for the census. Now, I'm sure you would be wondering whether or not, knowing that we have countries like the Bahamas, which is our closest neighbor with a similar demographic profile, that should be conducting their census this May. You might be wondering if we are left behind. But the last census was in 2001. It was during the period August to September 2001, which means next year September would give us exactly 10 years to conduct the census.
So what does the preparation stage consist of when getting ready to conduct a census? News 4 spoke to Permanent Secretary of Finance Dalton Jones, who is currently away, and says training staff, putting together thousands of questionnaires, raising public awareness, and strategical planning is all needed before an actual census can take place. Forbes reiterates.
If we can just go through some of the activities. Before we can actually have the census, one of the things we're doing at this early stage, we are actually dividing the islands into statistical areas called localities, okay, and their subdivision into enumeration districts or clusters of households, okay. Our mapping technician is preparing the state-of-the-art digitized enumeration district maps showing buildings overlaid on aerial photograph of the area, okay. Also, the census questionnaire has to be designed. We're going to design this keeping in mind the views of the proposed Census Advisory Group and the CARICOM Common Questionnaire. Then we have to look also at the census listing records and training manuals, okay, which would basically involve updating the old manuals and records, okay. And we have already prepared a census budget, which is drafted and has been passed by Advisory Council, okay. So we are well on our way in terms of the preparation for the census.
The last census took place in 2001, and the Turks and Caicos Islands had an estimated population of about 20,000 people. But the department has seen big changes in numbers since then, causing much more of a need for the census.
In 2001, the population was 19,886. Figures show, estimates show that the population is roughly 38,000 right now. But these are just estimates. The only way we can actually know what the population is like is by going out there and actually getting a full count of the population.
Forbes says that the estimate was not a guess, and lots of research was done before they decided that the Turks and Caicos Islands has seen a large increase in the population since the last census.
These estimates were based on data from the schools, immigration data, wherever we found information. As you would know, the education department normally keep a record of all of the schools in the Turks and Caicos Islands. So that would give us an idea of the population in that particular age range. Also immigration data, and then we look at births and deaths, and we come up with an estimate based on that.
So with all these preparations underway and a number of things to do before the actual census can take place, has the department decided on an actual date?
The tentative date is the 10th of September 2011. And like I said earlier, this would give us exactly 10 years since the last census was conducted.
Forbes ended by telling News 4 that persons within the community should participate in the census as it benefits the country in a major way.
I am using this opportunity to ask the public to cooperate with enumerators when they visit your homes. All information given will be held in the strictest of confidence.
For WV4 News, I'm Amanda Miller.